time now for Coming In Hot with Brent Wallace and former Ottawa Senator Jason York.
Afternoon, everybody. Brent Wallace coming to you live from the Canadian Tire Center. Yorkie and Jason York. York Chop, Yorkie, smartest man in hockey, whatever you're called these days. Welcome.
It's Beef Yorkie. We're rolling with Beef Yorkie. Okay, what are you doing at the rink?
So, I don't.
What are you doing there?
I'm trying to not make eye contact with anybody in case they find me. So this morning I get to the rink and then Ian Mendez has stopped me and goes, "Hey, are you coming to Gary Bettman today?" Because Gary Bettman's in town. He's speaking right around 5:15. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, and he does it, right? He tours every NHL team every year. So he said, I said, I probably can't make it. We have a show until 5. And he's like, well, if it helps that you can do the show from here, you can do it. And I'm like, I'm not prepared. I was going to go home in the afternoon and get the show together. So I scrambled, got to hear. I think it's set up properly. This may all go to hell. I don't know. But we'll keep going for now.
Okay. So you're there because of Gary Bettman. This is main reason. I'm gonna try to get into Gary Bettman after the show. So we will be off the air by 5 for sure. Because I have to pack all this stuff up by myself, lug it across to the other side of the building before Gary starts. And so the staff here where I'm in the Hard Rock area, if you've been in the rink, and I think they would like to try and set up this place, but I've commandeered the whole thing. So commandeered.
Right, commandeered.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see how she goes. So far, so good. Acoustics are sounding good. The backdrop's phenomenal too. I might have to join you there one day. We'll do a show from that little perch.
Well, so Ian said, "Hey, if you guys want to come in, it shouldn't be a problem." I'm like, no, this is way too much work. I know. Hang on.
I know.
Anyway.
Then I don't have to figure out how I'm going to get my coffee. Right. I got my chocolate stash back there, my Lindors I have before the show. Yeah, you know what? On second thought, I'm staying here. I'm cozy here.
I got so much stuff packed. Anyway, so by the way, Shaun Van Allen is going to join us at some point here. More chats with Vanner. He has the greatest dry sense of humor. Now, I did ask Jacques Martin about Vanner today. Mm-hmm. I can't wait to tell him what he said about him. So that'll be interesting. But first, the Ottawa Senators will face the Edmonton Oilers, who, by the way, lost last night 3-0 in Montreal. Ottawa, obviously, coming off that 4-0 loss to Carolina. We will see how this plays out. Now, Edmonton, just say the name, and it, for me, it puts a little bit of fear into you, right? But they haven't been great this year. So I'm not so sure that this is an easy walk in the park, despite the fact that Edmonton in this building has won 12 of the last 15 games in Ottawa.
Yeah, I was thinking about it today while I was at pickup hockey with the boys, Slats and the boys today. By the way, I like my new little shirt here, Britannia Yacht Club. Compliments of my good buddy Slats. That's where we play pickleball in the summer. But somebody asked him at the game, and I said, yeah, they've always had a tough time with Connor McDavid. And I was trying to think, okay, who are the Sens going to match up? Because they got last change, so they can. I think in a perfect world, they'll probably have Jake Sanderson on the ice as much as possible. Because I think Sanderson's the guy. Sanderson and Zub will match up against them.
But all I'm saying, Yorkie, is the point is you have Thomas Chabot and Nick Jensen, who have been, I think they've been very good defensively of late.
Very good, very good. Hey, Chabot's been great this year. No complaints about Chabot's game, and Jensen's been. Just like I advertised him, really good.
Hi, Barry Horowitz.
Yeah. So if you don't get Sanderson and Zub, you're good with Chabot and Jensen as well. But it's got to be the thing when you're playing a guy like Connor McDavid. It all comes with your back pressure. You can't have your forwards dive bombing on the forecheck when he's on the ice, and you need guys on top of him. And then you need him, and you got to force him to skate through layers. Yeah. And then the more you back pressure, and he's still going to get his chance. He's still going to get his opportunities. And Leon's there as well. Draisaitl, who's arguably whatever you want to call him. He's a top 5 player in the league. I know that. So it's going to be a good test. But like I said, it's a group effort. As far as the forwards, everyone's aware when McDavid's on the ice, and you just hound him. You don't let him wind up. You close him off. if I was coaching against McDavid, you gotta just always take a piece of him, skate by, take a piece of him, make him stop in the offensive zone. Like you just gotta slow him down. Way easier said than done.
Yeah, because in Ottawa, in his 11 games, he's got points in 10 of them. Not even, right? Like,
yeah, I know.
Travis Green was asked about it today, and so was Thomas Chabot. Like, and as it always is, what do you do to stop him? He's like, well, we've been trying to for years, so we'll see how it goes. But would you not put a forward line? Is it Shane Pinto's group, or is it? I don't know. I would think, right?
Yeah. I really like how Stützle's playing. Like Stützle's got nobody's got McDavid's top end gear, but Stützle it would be interesting to give him that response of playing because the other way to stop Connor McDavid, you make him play in his own zone. So you make good decisions with the puck. You make him play down there, and the way Stützle's been playing right now, the way he's hanging on the pucks, forcing the other team to defend, that could be an option as well. So it's a group effort. Who's ever on the ice, but I want Sanderson on the ice because he's your best skating, best defending defenseman, and that would be the guy I'd be making sure is on the ice.
All right. So we'll see how that plays out. However, it's funny. We always just say, well, how do you defend the Edmonton Oilers? But Ottawa is a much better at the moment offensive team, if I'm not mistaken, based on their goals 4 per game. What does Edmonton, obviously the Darnell Nurse stuff, Josh Brown, former Ottawa Senators, now in the lineup tonight. They claimed Kasperi Kapanen off waivers from St. Louis. He, unless the world changes, not expected to be here tonight. Although I haven't gotten an update. So we'll see how it plays out defensively for Edmonton. But I like Ottawa's chances. We'll get to picking it in a bit. We do have a special. Yorkie, what are you doing?
Fixing my camera. It's like keeps sliding over on me there. It's a little bit better. There you go. I got a message from producer Jake. Can you fix your camera, please? Jake, I can do that for you. Don't worry. Well, everyone's listening mostly to this pod anyhow. I think we get too carried away with the optics.
That's not true. The numbers,
what do the numbers say? What do the numbers say?
I think I don't know if it's 60% watch, somewhere in there.
Really?
I haven't. Yeah. Well, of course listen, this show's a lot more entertaining if you watch it than it is just to listen. But I do understand people are walking or they're in the car, whatever. So I get that they're still listening, which is why we try to do our contests for everybody so they don't have to. It's not just all about being live. Anyway.
Well, can I tease our new segment that we have coming up later in the show? Can I tease it?
Oh, sure.
So this is something you're going to need to see. You're going to need to behold and see with your own eyes. We've got a new pick'em because with just you and I picking right now, and we maybe get Shaun Van Allen to pick as well. But we're going to need a third party to regularly come in and get their picks in on who they think is going to win in each Sens game. So tonight, whatever you want to call it, we're going to do. Who is Charlie choosing? That's my dog. My dog is going to go and choose what team she thinks is going to win tonight.
I think this has the potential to be an internet sensation.
It does.
Be like merch, everything.
Well, we cut it this morning, Charlie and I. I laid down the facts. I told her about McDavid and the success he's had. I also mentioned Stützle has been playing really well. But it's all going to come down to goaltending. Charlie knows that. I know that. So she took a lot of time to consider it, and we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be a surprise.
There's a lot of responsibility on Charlie. Okay, let's. Anyway, Jake is giving us the numbers on the live streams. Anyway, let's take care of some business, and I want to get to obviously the matchup with the Ottawa Senators tonight, and who's in the lineup, and then we'll discuss who's not in the lineup. As always, this show proudly presented to you by Charm Diamond Centers, proudly Canadian owned and operated since 1972 with more than 85 locations across the country. Through Charm and their sister brands, get custom ring building delivered in less than 4 weeks with the Charm Masterpiece program, an unbeatable pricing policy. Check out a large selection of Canadian lab-grown diamonds, mine diamonds, and don't pay until 2025 with their instant in-store financing on approved credit. For more information, go to charmdiamondcenters.com. By the way, it's the same lineup. Linus Allmark is in that goal. Same lineup. No JBD. Yorkie, I'm surprised that he doesn't get a game here or there. Am I missing something? You're the D.
Well, I think everybody wants, like, if you talk to everybody, they're like saying, yeah, you got to take a Travis Hamonic. Like I said the other day when you asked me this question, I don't think when Bernard Docker was playing and the way Hamonic's playing right now in the third pairing, I think from the coach's lens, it's like, what are we improving? Because you got to understand, the NHL is not about, okay, well, fair is fair. This guy has to play because it's his turn. It's his turn to play. He deserves it. No, they're going in each and every game trying to dress and suit up the 20 guys they think give them the best chance of winning. So obviously, there's something that Travis Hamonic is doing that they think gives them an edge over Bernard Docker. So experience. He's a little more physical. They both block shots, but I will say, in my opinion, Hamonic's the better shot blocker.
Which is weird because Bernard Docker led the team in block shots.
Yeah. I think Hamonic blocks a lot of key shots at key moments, especially when I look at some of the wins this year that Ottawa's had. The coaching staff's entrusted him, and he's come up big in some certain plays where you notice it, and the players on the bench notice it. So for me, it's little plays like that he's done. And like I said yesterday, I don't think Bernard Docker's played poorly. I just think they feel, obviously, that they got a better chance to win with Hamonic. That's why they're doing it. Would I be doing it? Honestly, I don't think Hamonic's played bad lately. I think in the third pairing, he's been pretty good lately.
Okay, we'll see. All right,
he is what he is.
People will argue with you at great lengths about the decision, but I will trust you as being the guy that's played the game. So, by the way, Vanner's here, so let's not waste any more time. We'll get back to it. We'll have the Charlie's Choice segment coming up as we pick. I have some notes for you, Yorkie, to maybe sway your decision one way or another in the game tonight of who you're picking. So,
well, Charlie was adamant. She just, without hesitation, she knew who she's picking.
I'm gonna okay. We'll get to that. Now we'll bring in the guy who's 13th on the list of most games played by the Ottawa Senator and one of Jacques Martin's favorite people, Shaun Van Allen. Hi, Vanner.
Okay, yes. Hey, Wally, Yorkie, how are you guys doing?
Hey, Van, don't forget former Edmonton Oiler as well, Shaun Van Allen.
Yep.
Yeah, those 23 games in 6 years. They're still talking about that out west.
It's still 23 games, Vanner.
Yeah.
By the way, you didn't wear number 22 for Edmonton. I think it's 26 and 20 were the numbers you had.
Bang on, correct.
Yeah.
So why did you switch to 22?
You think I had a choice? Remember, minor leaguers in Edmonton, like, we weren't called up too often, and we didn't have he had no say.
Vanner, I don't know about you. I didn't get my name on my stick until my 4th year pro.
Oh, we were ahead of you on that part. But Ben, when we first went there, like our first year when we were rookies, we would go into the stick room where all the sticks that the NHL guys didn't want to use, and they'd say, "Oh, help yourselves to any of these sticks," and because we didn't have patterns or anything like that, so you had to pay your dues. And back in Edmonton in the big days when they were like elite, or maybe they still do it, you used to have your name on your gloves. And I never once in the 6 years had my name on my gloves.
Oilers
I did get
or anything.
No, it probably said Oilers. You know what I mean? Okay. And a lot of times we'd break in the new stuff, so that's you wouldn't even really skate with the big club unless you were really exceptional in training camp. So, and it was weird because we stayed at the Forum Inn across the street, and they would post a lineup the night before. and we would skate earlier, and we would skate twice a day, where the big guys would just skate once a day.
Vanner, how many locker, like when you got the camp in Edmonton back in the day, because Gretzky and all the boys were there, how many different so obviously the Oiler guys were there, had the main room. How many other different locker rooms were there? Like, because in Detroit it was slated, if you were in a certain locker room, you knew where you were going.
I was in that certain locker room every year in Edmonton. There was, I won't forget it, because back when the papers were big, back in those days, late 80s and the 90s, the headline on the sports page was Van Allen, Ing, and Curry cut. But no one had told us yet that we were cut. And when we went to the rink, and like, you're already like, you know what I mean? You're going to the rink and you're just waiting for your plane. But they didn't cut us that day. But it was just a matter of time. And, so I don't know how, they obviously didn't jump the headlines, but maybe just a hair.
I got a question from a guy in the chat I want to get to before I forget it. Steve from Ottawa. Vanner, I remember playing against him in his NCBL ball team, which is that the one that include Don Brennan?
Yep.
Okay. He purposely threw at one of my teammates' head. Teammate was mouthy, and a shoving match ensued. I sat on the bench watching. Do you have any recollection of this?
Any comments?
Any comments? Well, I don't know if I would have thrown at his head. It's not like I wouldn't have thrown at people. But yeah, that's just the nature of the.
Okay.
I'm not sure what I like.
It'd be a long time
to
ago.
me. Yeah, it's been a long time. I definitely, if I threw at someone now, it would you wouldn't have to worry about anything. But no, it was probably I don't know, just being competitive. I don't imagine I threw at his head, but I would have probably thrown inside.
I can remember you and Don Brennan talking a lot about ball when you were here, if I'm not mistaken.
And Terry Marcotte calls it baseball, so that kind of eliminated Terry from the team.
I think it's his birthday today.
Oh, it is. Oh, happy birthday, Terry.
Terrell, happy birthday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Since you are a former Edmonton Oiler, also well known for your defensive game, my question is, how do you slow down Connor McDavid if you were in charge?
Wow, that is a great question. Well, I guess you do what Montreal did last night. No, because I thought Edmonton had a lot of scoring chances last night too. It's really tough. I think it takes 5 guys to possibly try and shut them down. No one probably skates with him, so it's like you're kind of passing him off. And if you can deny him the puck, it's probably a nice head start on the matter. But for the most part, he's going to get the puck at some point in time. I don't feel like he's shooting the puck like he was, say, even a year or 2 years ago. He's looking to pass a little bit more. But what I noticed last night in watching some of the Montreal game is, man, he was frustrated early. Like, how many times did you see him slam a stick against the boards during the play after they missed a couple scoring chances? And you can feel the frustration building. So if you can capitalize on that, if you're an Ottawa Senator in the first period, you can somehow shut him out. And that to me means also staying off the, don't give him power play chances, because that's when they really take over. But that first period, if you could just try and build the frustration, maybe it can carry through for a little bit longer.
I don't know how much you've watched the Oilers this year, Vanner, but everybody was predicting them to be one of the top teams in the league this year and have a good chance going to the finals again. What do you think's going on there? Like, what do you think's the problem? Why they're struggling?
Well, I went to Dallas the year after they lost in the Stanley Cup final. Yeah. I believe that was in 7 games too. It's when you've been in those long playoff runs, I find sometimes the regular season for these guys who've played a lot of playoff games, it's not as important. They're just waiting for the playoffs. Now you have to get to the playoffs, but there'll be games where, the coach is trying to do everything to motivate the guys, but they just don't have it in them that night. And it's just kind of a throwaway game. There's a reason you play 82 games. And if you haven't played, it's hard to understand from the coach's side, because every game is important. But for players, they're like, wow, we got to go through 82 of these to get ready for the playoffs. And I think sometimes your motivation is lacking a little bit. And then also some of those guys in the playoffs, Mark and Brown, they had, great playoffs, especially in the Stanley Cup final. Mm-hmm. And the role changes a little bit. And, you always got to keep the big boys happy.
Quickly, Don Sweeney announcing just minutes ago, Jim Montgomery's been fired. Joe Sacco takes over. Did you guys play with Joe Sacco in Anaheim?
Played on his line.
Oh.
Yep.
So will you be calling up for an assistant coaching job?
Well, geez, yeah. Look, that'd be fun going into Boston right now. Like Joe definitely, has earned it. He paid his dues in Colorado too, and he's been in Boston a long time. Last Christmas, I went down to the rink and talked to him and Chris Kelly. So, I'm happy for Joe. I'm sure Joe's not excited from how he, got the job. But, what was Montgomery? Did they not break the record? Was it like less than 2 years ago for most wins in NHL history?
Yeah, Linus Ullmark is a Vezina Trophy winner from that year. Yeah.
Like, that's like, the pressure to succeed in the NHL. Like that wasn't that long ago. And even last year, they were good, their record. But, I think some of their role players had career years.
Yep.
And that definitely helps. And then the big boys were scoring. Pasternak, Marchand, and none of that. Swayman was better than he was last year than he has been this year.
And I think it comes down to when you have set. We all thought that Boston would take a dip last year, and I think they just happened to make it 1 year longer than we all expected. That's what it feels like. Yorkie, can you just leave your camera alone?
There, it's good. I got it. It's funny when people were getting the feeling that Montgomery was gonna get. I was in Halifax a couple weeks ago, and Paul McLean was there, and he said, "Well, 3 years." He goes, "If they're not where they're supposed to be in 3 years, and someone's probably going to get fired." And he called it like 2 weeks ago, and then there was rumors out of there. But man, when I watch Boston, and what you, Vanner, do they not seem slow? Like they do. They seem very slow. I like their D, but even that Ottawa game, they just don't play with the pace the top teams do. That's the big thing that sticks out to me.
And not only that, they don't score easy goals, and they have to work so hard to score. And especially when Pasternak's their only true goal scorer, pure goal scorer. And now the coach goes to bat with the two leaders, Marchand and Pasternak, and then he loses. It's always an interesting thing that you hear in the media, and from people out, you've got to hold your players accountable.
Yeah.
And it is so hard to hold them accountable because, if I go after my two top players and I get in a fight, I'm not winning. No one's winning that fight. Yeah. And so what do? Like, do we bench them and play lesser players? So then that doesn't help you to win, but it holds them accountable. And I think there's such a fine line when you're a coach to how you treat your best players, because if your best players have your back, you're going to get more opportunities to stick around and turn the ship around.
You're almost as a coach screwed if your best players aren't self-motivators, leaders, and your hardest workers, because sooner or later it's not going to work with them, because they just, like, it works in Colorado because McKinnon, this guy, is driven to be great. Pittsburgh's having a tough time this year, but for so many years it worked with Sid, because same thing in Chicago, Jonathan Taves. It's just, you get guys, and Boston's old too now, Evander. Like Marchand's had a great career, but they're top guys. They're not there anymore. And I don't know. For me, I would have a tough time building my team around Pasternak. He's a scorer, and to a lot, $11 million for a guy. If he's not scoring, then what's he doing?
Yeah, and that's been the case this year. He's not scoring, and he's not doing. And like when we talk about speed of the game, he doesn't look as. But when he's scoring, he's got a little bit of more of a jump in his step as
he does,
as anybody does. But Boston is just working really hard, and they're working harder than they have to, and they're not getting anywhere close to the chances and the results they have in the past.
I want to move on just quickly because I don't want to take all your time, but I talked to Jacques Martin today. So, and before I tell him what he said about, or tell you what he said about you, I'm curious what your thoughts are on Jacques Martin.
Well, it's, I hold a special place in my heart for Jacques. When I got traded here, our son got diagnosed with, they called it something else, but it's just he has autism, and my wife called me from California with this diagnosis. So I'm here by myself, trying to fit on a new team. First time I ever got traded. You can ask Yorkie, the guy sitting,
But
on the plane. I'd never been traded before, so it was a new experience for me.
For those who don't know, Yorkie and Vanner were traded together from Anaheim.
Yeah, and we didn't even come to Ottawa. We went to Lake Placid.
That's right.
And
yeah.
So it was, we were trying out for the U.S. Olympic team, but they didn't have us because we were Canadian. But no, they're having a mini training camp or something like that, Wally, in Lake Placid. So we went there, and then not shortly after, I got that phone call, and with the adjustment of trying to play for a new team, trying to impress a new team, and then having that going on. So anyway, we got Colleen and Aaron and Haley out here, as quick as we could, but Jock had a lot of patience, and it takes time for role players to earn the trust of their coach, and it doesn't matter what the coach is. It just takes some time, and it took some time. And Jock had patience with me, and that was a big help for me. And I got to spend 6 great years here.
It's funny you say that.
I thought Vanner too. You really bonded with Craig Ramsey. Like I thought you guys had a special kind of bond going.
Yeah, Rammer was a great guy. I still remember this. He cornered Bruce Gardner and Denny Lambert and I one day, and he said, "I want you guys to go in and talk to Jock and tell him you want more ice time." And I was like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm telling those guys you guys need to play more. Now you guys need to step in there and tell them you guys need to play more." Can you picture going into Jock's office and say, "Hey, Jock, yeah, Alfie, you know what? He's playing a little bit too much. Let's cut back on his ice time. Let's get Lambert, Gardner, and Van Allen out there." You know what I mean? First unit power play stuff. You know what I mean? So Rammer was awesome. You know what I mean? So that was a great crew back then. And then you throw in Perry Pern. That was quite the coaching staff, that we had, and we had a lot of respect for those guys, and we all knew how to play. If we didn't play that way, we weren't going to win, and we knew who we are, and that's why we were so successful.
Wally, we used to, and this is no word of a lie, we practiced, and we saw this last year with the Senator. Jacques made them practice line changes. We'd have to do the line change drill, but it was to the point so specific that Jacques, we used to do these chip drills. I'll never forget this, because you remember this, Vanner, Jacques had that old Peter Forsberg wood stick, and you had to skate by Jacques, and you had to chip it exactly 2 feet off the boards. And if it wasn't perfect, he'd make you do it again. Then you had to go dump the puck in, and it was no cross corners. It was hard around in the glass or a soft chip, and there were no and ifs or buts. It had to be that way. So our details, Vanner, we just out-detailed everybody to death, in my opinion.
Oh, for sure we did. You are so right. And because we didn't have scoring, we had to play that way. Like, we had Yash, we had Alfie, and after that, you know what I mean? We had to find a way to play good defense and win hockey games. Like, we prided ourselves, if we had a 1-goal lead and going into the third period, that it was over. And, we played a lot like that. It might not have been exciting because we didn't have the same talent as some teams, but then we got more talented, and with the more talent, we scored more goals. But I don't know if we played the system as well as we did in those first few years.
No.
By the way, I don't know how loud it is for you guys. The band is warming up, and it's hard to hear a bit of you. So I apologize. This was my concern about doing the show in the building.
Yeah.
I will say, here's what Jacques. I said, Jacques, I got Vanner on the show today. Do you have any stories about him? And he's like, stories, and he starts to chuckle. He's like, no, but he goes, when we got him, I was like, this guy can't skate. And so he said it took about half a year to realize what they had in you, and that leads to what you said about it took time to understand role players. And so he goes, after the half a season, we totally understood what we had. A very cerebral, very good hockey player. He goes, he's in Pittsburgh now, and he goes, Mike Sullivan he's like, what's this Nick Bonino guy? Oh my God. And Jacques goes, no, wait. I know exactly what he is. And he's like, Shaun Van Allen, you just give him half a year, he'll be fine. So there you go. You're being compared to Nick Bonino. I don't know if that helps you or not.
Well, Nick Bonino was a better scorer than I was. That's awful. And I remember when I was playing with Ottawa, it was a few years after the trade. We were playing in Atlanta, and after the game, I came out, and Jack Farrar, that was the GM of the Anaheim Ducks at the time when he traded Yorkie and I, and he come up and he, I just wanted to let you know, he said, we made a mistake in trading you. And like, to me, for a GM to like, that takes a lot to say something like that. And you know what I mean? It felt good, you know what I mean, at the time.
Yeah.
But to me, it took a big man to say that. But because when you look, like, I'm not going to wow you with my skating ability, but I was really competitive, and I wanted to do anything that I possibly could to win.
So Wally just threw out the Nick Bonino comparison, Vanner, and I always find myself, I use you as a comparison a lot when guys come in and their goal scorers, because people forget. Well, you know this. Vanner led the American League in scoring, 100-point guy. So Adam Gaudette.
No, was it not twice?
Was it twice he won the scoring title?
No, just the once.
Okay. Once. So Adam Gaudette, 40 goals in the minors, comes to a new team. Now he's the fourth line center. Still scoring some goals.
Hobie Baker winner, don't forget.
Hobie Baker. So he came in with similar track record to you, right? A guy that put up a lot of points. Now he's on a fourth line. So, like, what do you see some similarities in what and kind of what you had to do to what Gaudette's going through?
Probably a little bit. He obviously shoots the puck way better than I ever shot the puck. And
but you had the old coho. You had the old cohos, Vanner, the old silver fibers.
Oh, would love to have those. Bring them back, fellas. You know what I mean? That would make an old fella happy. But yeah, it's he gets to play the power play. I didn't really get to play a whole lot of power play. But yeah, it's similar. You know what I mean? But yeah, he definitely shoots the puck. You don't get the same minutes. You don't play with it's tougher to put up points when you're playing between 10 and less minutes. And but good on him. He got on a little streak there with scoring goals. The puck was going, but he works really hard, and that is a credit to him. And you're happy to see a guy like that succeed.
Vanner, I tell this people about defensemen. If you're playing, because for defense, the magic number is around 16, 17. If you're under that, you feel like crap and you're not into the game. And to me, it's an art form to play limited minutes and play and contribute. How hard is it when you're on the fourth line and you're playing 10 minutes?
Well, because the bike ride's coming after the game in Ottawa. So that's the hard part. You know what I mean? Like, you still got to focus on the game, but if you don't play 12 minutes, you're going up there and seeing your name on the board that you got to ride the bike, and then you see guys walk by in a suit and you're doing sprints. It really makes you really happy and really proud. You know what I mean? Like, I'll never forget Kevin and Neen and Andre and I were riding the bike, and Dino says, Banner, what do you do with this bike? Like, I can't get I said, well, the tension was like 600, watts or something like that. And he couldn't move it. So, but yeah, those were it's hard because, like, you have to stay in it. Like, you never know, like, you might have to go take a face off in overtime, or you might have to take a face off in the last minute. Maybe you've had one shift, maybe you've had two shifts, but that's just part of being a pro. And you try and, as best you can to block out that other noise and do anything you can, because if you don't do it, they will bring someone else in. And I always felt like they'd bring someone else in to take my job, and I wasn't going to let someone else take my job. So I was going to focus on any little detail I could to stay in the league.
What was the magic number? Because everybody always says the Senators used to ride the bikes back in the day. Brandon Shanahan used to tease, make fun of it. What was the magic number we had to do the sprints? Was it 12? Was it 12? It was 12 if you're under 12, you're getting bagged.
Yeah. But a lot of times Randy did that after the second period. So he would kind of calculate. So sometimes he'd make a mistake and you're like, hey, you know what I mean? And because some of those bike rides, like, we would typically do 9 or so hard sprints. And, after the game, you're not really looking forward to it. Like, there's times like, you have to do it, but there's other times like it would be more productive not to have done it.
100% recovery. Wally, what's going on over there? You got the marching band still playing in the background?
So I have to mute it's so loud. I don't know what it's like to you. I can't hear Vanner sometimes talking. So I'm I'm just kind of along for the ride at this point. If you can hear me, I have a question for you, Vanner.
We got you.
Okay, so Wally, before you ask that question, and you brought up the band, I don't know if you can hear me, but can I just interject in this? One of the funnier moments that we were playing in Binghamton, former home of the Senators farm team. Was the Binghamton Whalers, and they had a band in the corner, and there was a player on the other team named Al Tour, and he'd had enough of this band, and Al was a really tough customer. Anyway, he skates in warm-up into our end and flips a puck up into the stands and at this band. He'd had enough of this band, and I'll never forget seeing this guy in the home jersey come down on our end. And we're like, what is going on? And then he just flipped the puck up at the band and took off back to his end. So sorry to interject there.
It's like a slap shot. That's like a slap shot moment where the guy takes the slap shot, hits the guy in the head that's playing the organ.
Taking out the Cuba guy. Yeah, I don't know if warm-up's done yet for them or not. You scored one playoff goal in your career. And I'm curious, against New Jersey, if I'm not, like, as long as my facts are all straight, curious about that goal and what that meant to you to score it on Marty Brodeur, which I believe is game one of that series.
Yeah, you're bang on. It was
overtime, by the way.
Yeah, everyone on the ice except Patty touched the puck. So I want to say it went from Chara to Phillips to Schaefer to me to Marty Havlat back to me for a tap-in empty net goal.
No big deal.
For me, it was a massive deal. You know what I mean?
What is that reaction like right there when you have an entire team and you're the guy?
Oh, like you're on absolute cloud. You have so much emotion going through your body, you can't even describe it. Like, it is such a great feeling. Well, one, because you won. You know what I mean? Yeah. And now that's probably the highest I've ever been in my career. And in that same series, it's the lowest I've ever been in my career, in my entire life. And it's hard to span. And in less than 2 weeks, you could be that high and that low in the same span. But just knowing that, we won the game, we're now, 3 wins away from going to the Stanley Cup final against like a really good hockey team. But it's so exciting. And, whether you score or someone else score, it's almost the same feeling because you're so excited that we won and you're so happy for the guy that scored. But at the end of the day, it boils down to because the team won and playoffs and that, like, what was there, 4 teams left playing at that point in time. So it's a great memory.
Cool. I just thought it was kind of neat. By the way, you talked about playoff. You weren't, or not a lot of power play goals for you. You still sit top 8 or top 6 in shorthanded goals for the Ottawa Senators franchise. I think you have 7 or 8. So there you go. So you were just as valuable shorthanded.
Well, it helped killing with Peter Schaefer.
Did you ever try that curve?
I did just before warm up in practice, and he's probably got to be the most talented player in NHL history to be able to play with that hockey stick. You know what I mean? That stick was ridiculous. Awful. And not only that, people forget about the knob. The knob was like sawed down to like a finger. And I remember also in that series, we were in New Jersey for a pregame meal, and Shafe had a piece of chicken parm on his plate, no pasta. And I'm like, Shafe, like, what's going on here? Like, it's been a long season. He goes, oh yeah, I got to stay light. And I was thinking, holy cow, we're approaching probably 100 games at that point in time. And Shafe was concerned about staying light when everyone else was wore out. But yeah, great guy.
He, for my money, Vanner, one of the best Ottawa Senators at protecting the puck in the corner. When he turned his back, like, it was crazy how he could hold on the pucks and shield guys off. He used to, you could put a stopwatch to him sometimes. You go like 1 steamboat, 2 steamboat. Like, I don't know if you remember. I just thought he just had a knack for being able to shield pucks, hold guys off, and then create cycles.
And the reverse hit, he was really good at that too. Yeah, and he wasn't like a big guy, but he understood his angles and his, like, just how to do it. He did it for so long. I think he got a bigger high out of protecting the puck in the corner probably than he did scoring goals. Like, he would love to go in the corner, take any kind of hit, because he knew he was never going to get hurt.
Yeah.
I think Mark Messier said, if I'm not mistaken, he was the best corner guy or board guy that in the league at the time. He just said he was unbelievable to get away from the puck.
Messier said that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, do you want to stick around for the Charlie's Choice to see what your Yorkie's dog picks for tonight's game, or would you like to leave now?
I can stick around if you like. It's totally up to you guys.
Okay.
We'll get Vanner's choice for tonight too once we do our pick'em for the game.
Okay, so normally, Vanner, this is where we make our selections for the game tonight. We have a new segment where Yorkie uses poor Charlie the dog for his own entertainment to make a choice. So here we go with Charlie's Choice.
All right, welcome to our brand new segment on Coming In Hot called Charlie's Choice, where Charlie's going to pick who she thinks is going to win our Ottawa Senators pick'em. And today, Charlie, or tonight, we've got a dandy. Check this out, Charlie. We've got the Ottawa Senators hosting Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers. Listen, I know you like McDavid because he's fast and you fancy yourself one of the faster dogs in the neighborhood, but come on. People need to know, Charlie, who do you pick to win tonight's game? Is it going to be Ottawa or Edmonton? Who do you got? There she goes. Oh, boy. Without hesitation, she's going with the Oilers. I don't know if people are going to be very happy with that, Charlie, but hey, a dog knows what a dog knows. So take it from Charlie. She's going with the Oilers.
Well, I don't know. Is Charlie going to be back for a second now after picking Oilers?
Listen, I did a couple takes and, well, you know, she's quick. Eh? She likes McDavid. What can I say?
That's I don't know what. Boo, Charlie.
I know.
Vanner, if you were picking tonight's game, knowing that Linus Ullmark, by the way, has never surrendered a goal to Connor McDavid. However, the Oilers are 12-3 in their last 15 visits to Ottawa. Who are you taking?
Well, I think it's also 3-4 for Edmonton. I think this Ullmark is going to have a bounce back game. I think his focus, like he's going to be razor sharp tonight. What I believe, the Sens haven't had as taxing as the schedule. They got shut out. Edmonton got shut out. I think the Sens are going to win 3-2 tonight.
Okay. By the way, hang on before you make it. I totally forgot I'm going to get in trouble. This segment brought to you by Bet365, proud partner of Coming In Hot. Open an account today with Bet365 and bet on a huge range of markets. So whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Use code NATION. Must be 19 years of age or older. Please play responsibly. Okay, Yorkie.
We're gonna have to get a dog food sponsor or like a local vet for Charlie's Choice.
We might, yeah.
Oh, we got to get that sponsored up. It's a tough one. They've had such a tough time with McDavid, and you got to think, at least Vanner, losing to Montreal last night, like he is going to be on a mission on this game. But here's what I think. I think Jake Sanderson is going to get a hard matchup against him tonight, and this is a big game for Ottawa. They need to get back on a winning streak here, and for Ullmark to Vanner's point, he needs to step up tonight. He had a tough loss last game, and this is what you brought him in for. Games like this, you have him for this. So as much as I hate to do it, I'm going against Charlie, and I'm taking the Ottawa Senators to win this game. It's going to be a close one, but I think the Sennies are going to pull it out.
I like Ottawa at home. I think they're a different team. I will take an Ottawa victory in this one. I almost picked the parlay correct in the last game.
Yeah, you did.
It's a bit tougher in this one, but the parlay for me, which I think is Tim Stützle an assist, Brady a goal. Brady to score a goal, Drake to get a point, and Tim Stützle with an assist. That's a tough parlay. I'm not sure that one's going to happen, but we'll see.
Yeah. Okay. So what happens if we're all wrong and Charlie's right?
Well, then Charlie gets unlimited treats for the next week.
There you go. Hear that, Charlie? Wally's going to come give you some treats.
Vanner, we thank you for stopping by. Listen, you give me an awful lot of hard time to come on the show, so I take this and enjoy every second I get you on the show.
Well, thanks, guys. It was my pleasure.
Thanks, Vanner. Appreciate it, eh?
No
Take
problem.
care, my friend. Shaun Van Allen, one of the true legends of the Ottawa Senators, if you ask me. Love that guy.
Yeah, sweet. So back to that story about Vanner and I. We had just played the final exhibition game in Anaheim of the exhibition schedule. We had played in Vancouver, and we flew back after the game like we always did. And when you fly back to Anaheim, you actually fly in LAX, and then you get on the bus, drive back to the pond. It was called the Arrowhead Pond back there, not the Honda Center. It's like 2:30 in the morning, 3 in the morning. We get the tap on the shoulder. Yeah. Jack wants to see you. So we're like, okay, what's this about? And then I said to Vanner, because Vanner, we're getting traded. He goes, what? No, we're not. No, we're not. I'm like, yeah, we're getting traded. Watch. So we go in the office, sure enough, traded to Ottawa. And I had just bought the house too, like 6 months ago in Anaheim. But I had got scratched that last game. And when you get scratched the last game in exhibition, usually, at least back then, you knew something was up. So yeah, we got on the plane the next day and flew to Lake Placid, met the team there. My wife Laurel at the time too, Wally, she was 7.5, 8 months pregnant. So she had to stay. Yeah, she couldn't fly. So she stayed back in Anaheim and had our daughter, Alexandra. But it was a big shock. I had been traded once before, though. I had gotten from Detroit to Anaheim. So I was used to it. But for Vanner, he was like, look, what are we doing now? Where are we going? What's going on?
That one's tough. Yeah.
Yeah. And Anaheim back there, we got treated so well. We had these Disney passes. The coaches, we used to hang out with the players because it was a second-year expansion team. And back then, the deck wasn't stacked for teams to do as well as Vegas and teams have done now. Like, you had a team basically of guys trying to cut their teeth in the league, and you were bad for much longer back then. But anyway, it worked out great for both of us.
Yes, it did, because we're happy that you stopped into Ottawa because it's well, now I got a co-host. We will get out of here as they're continue to try to get ready for tonight's game, which is Hockey Fights Cancer Night. Lots going on in the building. Gary Bettman is going to speak shortly. So we'll have that up on social media, and we'll see what questions he's going to get asked. And Yorkie, you still haven't done your BEI sponsor.
We'll finish it off with a little BEI, Bonisher Excavating. As always, our good friends there. Big thanks to them. Hit them up for some equipment rentals, aggregate and topsoil. They also can help you with custom screening, some crushing, and hot mix paving. BEI is helping to shape the Ottawa Valley, and you can get them at 613-432-1120. No. I had to put my glasses on for that. 432-1120, or on the web at bonishirexcavating.com. I thought I could squeak that one out without the glasses on, but no, sir.
No. Slow down in construction zone. Speaking of construction, it's getting chaotic. So I will get out of here. Although this looks really good. They're making popcorn behind me, and it smells so good. So I'll go see if I can.
Nice and salty, Wally?
I walked right into that. I feel like there's something else we're missing in the show today, but I have no idea because I don't have the setup I normally do. Anyway,
you're a mess. You're this must be bugging you. Unorganized. There's music going on.
It's chaotic.
Oh my God. How's your blood pressure right now?
It's not good. Tomorrow, a huge show. David Prawn. So our show's at 2:30 tomorrow. David Prawn stopping by, and then I'll say one of Yorkie's BFFs, Andreas Johansson, is going to stop by, full of stories. So that's going to be awesome.
I'm going to tell people right now, I'm throwing the Yorkie guarantee out there. You're not going to want to miss this show tomorrow. Andreas, I play with him in Ottawa and Nashville. He is an amazing storyteller, and I promise we're going to get into some great stories. He's got some great Jagger stories from when he played with Jaromir in Pittsburgh. Messier story. We got good Barry Trotz stories, and obviously we'll have some Sens talk as well with Andreas, who is a great guy.
He's the first player I ever asked for a signed stick from.
Yeah,
have it in my house. Anyway,
he's a beauty.
So we'll get to that tomorrow. Anyway, I appreciate everybody stopping by. Thanks to Shaun Van Allen, and we will see you tomorrow.
See you, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in to Coming In Hot. If you enjoyed the show, hit that like button and be sure to subscribe to never miss an episode.